moving on the line, there's a lot of cool new features that got added in, and I think a lot of them are things that are already in Android for many years, but feature parity not only makes both OSs better, it also changes the attack surface. And let's give some examples. Nearby Interaction Framework. This is a framework for communicating between apps. You can probably already think of, oh, there's a ton of interesting use cases that you can do that. And there are some things like that already in Android. And there's probably developers who are building that already in their app, but they're baking it in themselves. They're building it up from the ground themselves. Now there's an SDK that does that for them. And that's great. That's awesome. That does change the functionality of apps. That does change the way you might have to test apps where maybe there's a peer-to-peer interaction between an app for some reason. I see this being a really common, like for me growing up, LAN network gaming was a big thing. Maybe that'll come back in mobile and that'll be a thing. And something like a nearby interactions framework would be used. But I also see security implications there. Widgets. I joked around with a friend and said, hey, it must be 2009 because, widgets are here. But when you start thinking about how apps can use widgets, especially apps with really sensitive data where maybe it's showing information like, hey, here's my reservation for something, or here's my, like a shipment, or my bank account information that's in this widget. You start thinking of, there's all these different types of issues that could come up along with that from a security perspective. You start thinking, well, there's an API that's probably being accessed. There's probably some data that gets surfaced in the UI that shouldn't be. And there's a ton of other things that can come into play there. So widgets do change the attack surface. And again, you might start seeing more apps on the Android side adopt widgets for other tasks because you got feature parity. Finally, app clips. App clips are really similar to Android Instant apps if you're familiar with them. And the idea is that, let's say you go to a store, you want to make a payment through their app, but you don't want to download the whole app because maybe you're short on time or you just don't want to have the app on your phone. Now there's an instant app or an app clip where you can go through that single feature app and do that functionality. And that's cool. It really does change how you might be testing apps and kind of evaluating those use cases and how they're used. And really, it's really early on, so it'll be interesting to see how those get built out.